question for you guys. Would it help the flow of the show for you if I played the intro music before I did my intro, or just do it like I normally do it, where I just, pull the ripcord and let it go?
I always think it's nice to hear it, but like I don't need it.
Okay. Let me see what I can do here.
Hold on 2 seconds. I need to. Oh.
You good?
What are we doing here?
Chat.
What do you need me to do?
Nothing. I was just like, do you want me to? I was gonna play the music and then we'll get the episode going.
I had just had a crisis.
Oh.
Fucking this stuff shutting down on me. Okay, I'm fine.
You're good? Okay.
Great. So good.
Are you recording?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
Christ.
All right, here we go. So I'll play the intro music. Let me know if you guys can hear this right now. Can you hear that?
Negative.
No.
Interesting. Okay, well, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna stop streaming. Okay, I got an intro for you, and then you'll hear it. Don't worry. You'll know when the intro's coming. Okay, you guys ready?
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Do 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 do. Well. Welcome to another episode of Save It for the Cast. My name is Aaron, and I am joined by my eternal podcast brethren here today. Brethren? Is that the term I'm looking for?
Sure.
Yeah, brethren.
Close enough.
We got Billy over here on a pontoon boat.
Hey now.
And we've got Erick over here on a speedboat.
Oh, hello.
And I'm actually stranded in the middle of open water on a raft with no oar. Anyway, so today's episode is it's starting off a little bit chaotic, a little bit interesting. But there's a theme with today's episode, and we're going to get into it. It's going to be a whole thing. But yeah, I wanted to first bring up like a talking point for you gentlemen here today, for the audience at large, and I think it's going to be pretty relatable, and you guys will see where I'm going. So I'm going to ask something, and this is kind of like a rhetorical question, but I already know the answer, but it's just to get people in the right headspace for this. And that question is, have you ever been in a situation where you've either made plans or you're doing something for work or creating something creatively, so to speak, like Bill for your streaming,
right?
Me for, YouTube and stuff. Erick, maybe you're taking a picture of the car for the Instagram. And
maybe.
Have you ever done something and you're like, I gotta alter that a little bit. Something didn't come out quite right like I was planning or like I wanted to. And you kind of had to roll with the punches and kind of adapt on the fly. I'm sure that that's happened to you both.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And I mean, it's going to happen to, were you talking, Erick, or was that just?
Oh, no.
Okay, there.
He's got nothing.
I wanted to make sure I wasn't stepping on your toes because I saw the little green ring and I was like, oh, I'm waiting for words to come out, but nothing came out. But yeah, so it's human nature. That's going to happen to people. We're all going to have to adapt. We're all going to have to roll with the punches. And that's exactly the theme behind this week's podcast episode. Just so everybody's keeping track at home, this is episode 9. And I know the title and the audience knows the title. But you guys have no clue in this moment what the title or what the actual concept of this podcast is, because I've deliberately kept it a secret.
Yeah, no idea.
And you gents you actually do have some behind the scenes tidbits of information as to how we got to the finish line today. But what I thought would be fun is we're going to start you two at point A, and we're going to take you all the way to point T, and we're going to see how we got there. And then we'll examine point T, and that'll be the main talking point of the episode today. And then we'll just get right to it. So if you guys are ready, I will start the story time journey that we're all about to embark on.
Let's do this thing.
Okay.
Let's go.
So stressed out.
Don't be stressed. You'll be fine. So I'm, however, questionable at this point. So the main talking point for this episode, originally, I had it planned to be just a normal episode of the podcast, a bog standard episode of the podcast, if you will.
Yeah.
And I was originally the story that I had planned. It's a good enough story on its own. It's really funny. It's unique, and it involves us playing kickball. Now, you guys may know exactly where I'm going with that, and maybe some of the listening audience do as well. But the problem is, when I come up with these episode ideas, and I kind of develop like a script, it's not a talking script. It's like a bullet point list of stuff that I want to address or go through or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't really find something to connect this kickball story with. So that kickball story is coming. It'll probably be for season 2, maybe like an extra episode in the off break or whatever. But yeah, that was where we started with this episode, just a normal idea. And I was just like, okay, well, I want to go with something different. And I figured this would be a perfect episode, the penultimate episode of season 1.
Ooh.
I wanted it to be the very first, what I am going to refer to as a gimmick episode for the podcast. And I know what you're thinking. Aaron, what the hell's a gimmick podcast? Well, let me tell you, it's something.
Here we go.
And the idea behind the gimmick cast is that I want to basically have an isolated idea that is strictly confined to an episode of the podcast, and it sort of stands on its own 2 feet. So an example is I eventually want to do an episode called the Art Cast, which is where we come up with an idea. I bring a drawing idea or a painting idea to the table. Whoever my guests are will also bring alternate ideas that they have to add to the drawing or painting. And then we spend an hour shooting the shit, just talking stories, all that. Mm-hmm. And we draw these pictures, paint these pictures. And then at the end of the episode, we're actually going to have a finished piece of artwork from each of us that we will all share on social media for the episode. And like, that's an idea for a gimmick cast.
Now I can't draw. That's a big problem with me.
Well, I mean, that'll make it even better. Yeah.
Will it though?
Yes. It'll enhance the content. Everybody will be impressed.
Okay.
So that's an idea. That's one singular idea that I have for a gimmick cast. So I wanted to do something like that for this episode, just to introduce the concept to the people. And this is where we kind of go off the rails. So I had this idea for a gimmick episode, and I wanted to, this is where the behind the scenes info comes in. And you guys knew that I wanted to hire somebody for the podcast.
Yeah.
I wanted somebody to come on and put on a little bit of a show for us. And I was like, now what is this show going to be? So initially, my brain settled on mentalist, and I wanted to have a mentalist come on the show.
Okay.
And do sort of like a live online mental magic trick show for the three of us.
I'm going to wind up cussing this dude out. I can see.
And it was going to be amazing. I had found this I don't know what to call them. They're not really a studio, but they're kind of like this entertainment management media conglomerate or whatever. And I was like, I want to, hire one of your mentalists, because in the video on their website, they're like, this guy can come on for your corporate events. He can add something to your birthday party. He does it over Zoom. He does it over Skype. He does it without even having to wipe.
Right.
It's the magician.
Oh my God.
Now, that really wasn't the tagline, but I just figured
basically that's what I'm imagining, though. I mean,
I needed to add some shock value to the story to keep the listeners and you guys engaged. So I was going to have this mentalist come on, and oh God, I don't know the guy's full name because I actually was shopping around for mentalists. I ended up
big market,
I ended up, I was trying to hire guy number 2, and guy number 2 was very expensive. And you guys already know that, but I'll get to that in a second.
Yeah.
The first dude's name, I think, was Sean. Or was it Mike? Sean or Mike? I don't know. I think it's wrong. I think both of those names are wrong, but I can't remember.
The whole thing's wrong.
I can't remember his name at the time. But the guy who I settled on was Josh. I know that for a fact.
Okay.
And Josh is, I'll just say this, he is very big in the mentalist market. You know, he is a hot commodity.
He's got a reputation.
Yeah, I think he's been on like America's Top Talent or whatever. He's been on so many different shows and stuff. So I was like, man, I'm going to get this guy from America's Top Talent for the podcast. It's going to be incredible. Bill and Eric are going to be amazed. I'm like, this is going to be great. And it was a little expensive. So I didn't end up hiring him for the show because I emailed this company. And I actually sent the email, like a snippet of the email to you guys in our private text conversation, because I wanted to keep you in the loop of like, you know, what was going on. So you could be apprised
bare
of the
minimum
situation.
detail.
Yeah. So I sent them an email, and I won't read the email that I sent them. It was just basically like, hello, I host a podcast. Could you come on?
Right.
Thanks. You know, that was the gist.
Yeah.
So they sent me back, hello, Aaron. Thank you for contacting. And then I, censored out the name. We would be happy to help. However, most of our entertainment has been for corporate clients. We can certainly help with your request, but I wanted you to be aware that most of our entertainment begins at $2,500 and up. If that budget or higher works for you, please let us know. If it does, please also let us know any more details about the event so we can bring you the best idea for your budget. Thanks.
I mean, it just seems like a big cash grab to me at this point.
Now, I don't know if you guys know this, and I don't know if the audience knows this at large, but the budget that I had for this show was zero.
Right.
Yeah.
And everything that I've done for this show has come strictly out of pocket. I don't have sponsors yet.
Sure.
I don't have a wealthy oil tycoon that's investing.
In due time.
In due time. But yeah, so the budget was zero, basically. So $2,500 is $2,500 more than I planned on spending on a mentalist for the show.
That I'm going to ultimately cuss out. So, it's a lot of money to spend for you to ultimately be disappointed.
Exactly. Which also, what would have been funny was, obviously, we have our own lives outside of this podcast. And, we all have schedules and we're busy and stuff. So it was funny because I planned on potentially recording this episode last weekend. Mm-hmm. But it's good that we didn't, because if I would have hired a live mentalist reading for last weekend, we couldn't have done it anyway. So
right.
It would have fell through.
You would have just been doing a blank show on this Discord server, and that would have been it. So I was like, okay, I have to shift gears here now. And now that I knew, roughly what a mentalist was going for on the open mentalist market, if you will, I kind of had some ballpark figures to work with. And I'm like, okay, maybe a high profile mentalist is the wrong way to go.
Yeah, let's dial it back.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, okay, what would be better than a mentalist for the podcast? And I was like, but I want to stick with that theme. I want it to be like a live show. I want it to be something related to the mind. So I was like, I know. I'm going to get a mind reader for the podcast.
It's getting worse, Eric.
Yes.
And I want to have a mind reader come on, and I want them to be able to tell us what we've talked about on the podcast in episodes that haven't aired yet. And I also want them to be able to mind read what we're going to talk about on the show in the future, and just tell us different things about our lives that we may or may not know, and like blow our minds.
Sure.
Wow. Okay.
I should also mention, regarding the mentalist, I also wanted to do a custom show that was tailored to you two. So I was going to work with the mentalist behind the scenes to really mess with you guys and, mind fuck you, if
That's
you will.
a statement. Work with the mentalist.
Yeah.
Yeah, I had to give them some info beforehand, right? Something like that.
Exactly. And I figured I also wanted to do that with the mind reader. I wanted to kind of give the inside scoop on you guys, so that way I could, really wow you, because I'm trying to wow you with this gimmick episode of the podcast. So I ended up, like the resourceful man I am, I ended up saying to myself, okay, where can I go to get a very reliable and established mind reader that is affordable for a show with no budget?
Sure.
So naturally, I went to Fiverr.
Naturally, as you will.
Okay.
For those of you that don't know,
everybody's favorite.
Fiverr is a website where you can hire people to do things for you for like a minimum of $5, hence how the website got its name.
Sure.
And Fiverr, you can hire people to do anything. They can do a voiceover read for you. They can do like a magic trick for you. They can teach you stuff. You know,
they design.
Yeah,
you can find anything.
Designs. Yeah, you could get just any sort of contract work. And I was like, here we go. I'm going to get a mind reader off of Fiverr, and I'm going to see how great of a job they can do.
It should be quality.
Super quality, yeah.
Yeah, I was willing to pay top dollar for this mind reading.
He had to break open the piggy bank with a hammer. For this.
Yep.
You know, that $37 I didn't spend on the strip club really came in handy.
Sure,
here,
exactly.
Let me tell you. So I found a bunch of mind readers that fit the bill, and I was like, okay, here we go. So I don't know if you know this, but there must be a huge market for mind readers over in Pakistan, because I would say about 50% of the people that I found that are doing mind readings on Fiverr are all in Pakistan. I don't know why, but that's just something that I've conducted and found in my personal research. Another thing I found is very few are actually in the continental United States, which makes it trying to find a needle in a haystack where I would potentially be able to find a mind reader in the same time zone as us, so it would be easier to record.
Sure.
Because when we're recording this show at, say, like noon on a Saturday or a Sunday, if we're going with people, you know, who are recording, or not recording, but who are hailing from like Pakistan, you know, it's a 9-hour time difference. So, you know, if we're recording like at noon on a Saturday or Sunday, you know, for people in Pakistan, it's 9 o'clock at night.
It's party hour.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, so I don't know if these mind readers are, you know, if they're going to the clubs, if they're, you know, need to recharge and power down to make
I'd
sure
imagine they're going to the club. I mean, you know, if I have the power to read somebody's mind, I'm probably catching a few knocks on a Saturday night.
Exactly.
Yeah, definitely.
So I'm trying to be respectful of their schedules, our schedules. And I was like, okay, I need to try to find somebody in the US. Much harder than it actually sounds like it would be. But I found it and I did it. So I found this lady, just so you guys know who it is, but I'll censor out her name. Her name is, and she is from the United States. Now, I don't know where she is in the United States, so it could even be a time difference of, actually, wait, I can kind of see, local time. So she's 3 hours behind us. So
okay.
She must
She's
be on the
West
West Coast. Yep.
Yeah.
So I didn't realize I could see that. Wow, local time. There it is. So I contacted her, and just so the audience and you two know who this person is, she basically looks like a nice middle-aged woman who has longer, dirty blonde hair.
Ooh.
She has like a white robe style shirt on.
Oh.
And she's doing like this pose. I'm going to turn on my camera so you guys can actually see me. Hello. How's it going, guys?
Hey there, man.
So she's doing like one of these poses, like where she's like leaning on a door frame and she's like looking at the camera like this. And she's like, hi there. Like,
okay.
I read minds for a living, like that sort of deal. and there I go. There goes my camera.
I was going to say, should we all have our cameras on or are we not?
No. We don't have to. I don't require us to having to shower or whatever before we do this. So I don't necessarily want to subject, you know.
I was just going to turn on some lights or something.
Oh, okay. Yeah. And
Might have to put some pants on.
Yeah. I mean,
right.
yeah, I go pantsless with this recording too, just so everyone knows.
Just so we're understanding each other.
0 level of pants for this podcast on my recording end. So yeah, her name is though, and she very nice looking person. I have no idea. She's got a perfect 5-star review on Fiverr, 218 reviews. My goodness.
Wow, that's impressive.
My God, man.
Mind readings left and right. So I'm like, there it is. I found it. I found my mind reader. And I said, hello there. My name is Aaron, and I'm the host of a small podcast called Save It for the Cast. I was interested in hiring someone to be on the show and do sort of a mind/psychic reading on myself/my friends, which led me to your page. I did have a few questions for you, but ultimately I would like to chat more and see if this would be an opportunity you were interested in pursuing.
Right.
So I told her, like, this would be a live recording, probably either this weekend or next weekend, usually around our normal record time of like 1 to 2 p.m. I said, if you're comfortable with, because she was offering a 30-minute mind reading session.
Oh, my God.
So I was like, if you're comfortable with that 30-minute reading length, we could absolutely make that work. And then I said, I would absolutely trust your expertise to sort of guide this reading portion of the episode. And I said, I'd like to explore past details about our lives and go into other topics branching off from that. That was my exact terminology.
Okay.
And I said, I want to be mindful of your abilities and respect the practice. So if this isn't something you'd be interested in, I completely understand. And I do apologize for the quicker turnaround time because I was emailing this to her on a Thursday. I was expecting her to do a mind reading on a Sunday. So this is sort of like an on-demand quick turnaround thing.
Sure.
And she got back to me the next morning. So now this would be Friday morning. And she said, hello, Aaron. How are you? And then she said, that was one message. The next message, which was 4 minutes later, said, I appreciate you reaching out to me. I'm not sure I want to participate. Thank you kindly and blessings to you.
Oh, boy.
Oh.
So if you're keeping track at home, I had an idea for this episode of the podcast, which I couldn't make work at this point in time. So I canned it. We're 0 for 1.
Right.
Then I tried to contact a mentalist, a famous mentalist at that, to be on the podcast. It was too expensive, not in my budget. So
I'd say shockingly expensive. Shocking. Shocking.
I mean, this guy was on America's Next Top Talent. I mean, like,
I don't give a fuck.
He demands top dollar for his mentalist services. So I was like, okay, I'm 0 for 2. And then I was like, okay, let me do some research on Fiverr for a mind reader. And, very cheap services and stuff. And I was like, okay, let's email her. And it kind of, struck out there. I'm 0 for 3 on this podcast adventure.
You know what you're reminding me of right there with the okay is the when Squidward's doing the band and he's asking if anybody has any prior experience or something. And he goes, okay.
Nobody has any real talent. Luckily for you, I have all the talent. So, yeah, it was a very demoralizing experience to kind of prepare for this podcast. But as we're recording this episode right now, and as it has a title for this particular episode, you guys know that I managed to make something work.
Right.
Something happened.
So at this point, before we actually get into what I made work, I would like to know one thing from both of you gentlemen, and that is actually two things.
Okay.
How do you feel up to this point? I guess is the first question.
Anxious.
Yeah, I'm
uneasy.
Nervous, I guess.
Interesting. Not what I expected. I guess I'll elaborate with a little bit more of skilled question asking here. How do you feel about this experience up to this point so far? Like the story time journey that I just took us all on. What are your feelings on that?
I'm just appreciative of the time put in and your handling of being turned down. Because I put all this time in. If I get turned down like that, I'm writing a letter.
Oh, believe me, I wrote several. So that was, I guess, question number one. Question number two is, obviously, I told you the list of failed ideas that I couldn't make work for the show. We started with kickball. We then moved on to mentalist magic services. And then we went to mind reading. So do you guys, either of you, have a guess as to what I actually contracted services for this podcast for?
No idea. It could be anything.
Got nothing.
Okay. So what I did was, and I kind of pivoted because Fiverr has a very helpful section. By the way, if anyone from Fiverr is listening, thank you for this section. Fiverr has a very helpful section called related services. So while you're looking for something for your needs on this website, you can actually find other services that are somewhat related to the topics that you are looking for. So with me looking for a mind reader, I was lucky enough to find a tarot reader.
Oh my God.
Oh, yeah.
It did get worse.
Okay.
Now, when you say it got worse, what do you mean by it got worse?
I mean, all three of those things are, what would you call them? Exploratory sciences, basically. The tarot card thing, I've always thought was just, wow, there's a lot going on here.
Okay, so that's interesting. Eric, go ahead real quick.
Well, I was just going to say, is this going to be like Miss Cleo or something? Isn't that like the tarot card readers and stuff like that?
So now, okay, so it's not going to be Miss Cleo, but what I will say, yeah, I know.
I'd also imagine she's not on Fiverr, but
I can't really say that she is or is not on Fiverr. I do not know Miss Cleo's schedule.
Okay.
Nor am I going to assume what she does in her free time or whatever.
I got you.
Now, I do also have kind of a whoopsie style moment for the show, because part of the reason why I wanted to test me playing the intro music for you guys live is I wanted to see if I could share a video over Discord, like, basically just share my screen and play the intro music so you guys could hear it.
Sure.
And I wanted you to be able to say like, oh yeah, I heard that coming through loud and clear, because what I did was I contracted a tarot reader to do a reading for me that we are going to live analyze on this show.
Fantastic.
And we're going to break down what she said about me, how accurate it really is. And then I also wanted to get your opinions on tarot reading as a whole, because I really had none coming into this. And obviously, okay. Bill, you kind of touched on it. You said you're not a believer or not a...
I'm not big on any what I really can't stand.
This is the segment of the show where Bill goes into, what really grinds my gears?
Yeah, what really grinds my gears?
Okay, go ahead.
I don't like astrology.
Oh, yeah, okay.
It really burns me. Like, on an unrelated note, I have these people at my work that are always like, well, Mercury is in retrograde. And that's like an excuse for somebody just to be a total asshole. So yeah. I don't buy into that. And I unfortunately throw all of that kind of stuff into the same bag. Tarot, mentalist, hypnotism I'm a little bit more into.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, because there's proof of that. You can hypnotize somebody. We've done that.
We've done that. Now, side note, because if you can't tell, I'm stalling for time here.
Sure.
Have you ever been hypnotized, either of you?
No.
No, I haven't.
All right. Really wish that I would have asked a better question to stall for more time. Anyway.
I've always wanted to be hypnotized.
Yeah, I kind of, fall in like I guess I fall into an area where I'm like, I do believe that obviously hypnotism is a real thing, but I don't know how much of it is I'm in on it, like with these hypnotism shows, or like, is it actually people able to manipulate the actions of others just by like a command? Like, that's what I don't understand, because a lot of times popular hypnotists will say, I can't make you do anything that you don't want to do. Right? Like, that's a caveat.
Right. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, I don't know how much of the show is like, oh yeah, like I just don't mind like flapping my arms like a chicken and like pretending I'm laying an egg, or, is it like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go along with it because, it'll be good for the show sort of deal. So that but yeah, I do believe in hypnotism. I do, subscribe to that theory and stuff. But yeah, so what I wanted to do was, because I largely didn't know anything about tarot, about the practice, about its origins, about how it works even. So I was just like, okay, let me just contract somebody. We'll go through it and we'll see how close of a reading they can get to me.
Okay.
And the caveat behind it is that I did ask for this reader to look at a couple of different things. So the first thing that I wanted them to examine.
Was this live? Like, were you sitting in a call with this person live or something like that? Or
No. Actually, it ended up working out. And that's why I was like, okay, I don't necessarily mind doing this over video because, you know, like I kind of mentioned earlier, we kind of couldn't do this live anyway. So it actually worked out better that basically, so the services that this person offered, just so you guys know, I do have to get in contact with her again because spoiler alert, she did say she would be on the podcast. So
follow-up appointment.
Eventually she will be on the podcast. So I don't know if I would assume she doesn't mind her name being spoken.
Okay.
And I'm not going to give her username on Fiverr unless she gives me the go ahead. But her actual name, as far as I'm aware, is Ivy. And she is from Romania. So why are you laughing?
That's awesome.
Okay.
Oh, boy.
So yeah, her name is Ivy. She's from Romania. And the reason why I picked her was similar reasons to the first person for the mind reading was she had a phenomenal rating on this website, like much higher than other people. She seemed like she was extremely personable compared to other people. And the one thing that I think was a selling point to me was in her like details, like what she says on her particular site. It basically says that before she does any kind of tarot reading, she takes her time to meditate, to get in touch with the proper energy, and to be a clear channel for the information that needs to come through. So I like the fact that she does her due diligence and that she was like, you know, get like basically being all in on this. But
to get ready. Makes sense.
Oh, yeah, exactly. But she also said, the method that I feel most comfortable with is letting the tarot cards pop out of the deck themselves because the energy feels more potent this way, but it is not a set rule how I choose the tarot cards. I let my intuition and psychic abilities do the work. And what did she say here? There was something that drove me to picking her. Oh, here it was. She basically said, and I'm paraphrasing here, what like the information that will come out is the truth. So she said, like, I apologize if it's not what you want to hear, but it's like what you need to hear. And I was like, that's the one I want, because that's what we're about, the hard truths on this podcast.
Yeah,
it's been discussed. So I'm like, I don't care what it is. I want to hear, you know, like everything that I need to personally hear about this.
We're not hiding anything here.
Exactly. So I contacted her and I was like, you know, hey, I went with a different route because it almost seemed like leading up front with the podcast was sort of scaring people away, or it wasn't the way to go.
Right.
So I was like, you know, I'm just interested in doing this reading. I've never had one done. And then I was like, by the end of this, I will tell her that this is for a podcast. And if she is not comfortable with me sharing it or whatever, like, you know, I won't. But I did say that, like, you know, the whole point of this was to do something for this episode that I've never done before, you know, examine it with my friends and stuff and kind of go from there. Also, the reason why I'm stalling for time, as I mentioned before, is because you guys weren't able to hear my shared audio over my computer. I have currently been uploading these videos, these snippets to YouTube. So what I'm going to try to do,
send us some links.
Yeah, send you some links, or see if I'm able to share that to you guys over Discord. So before we go any further, we're going to hit a quick pause on the cast here.
This is instead of just trying to fix the audio.
Get some bongos.
Before we get any further into the tarot cast, I just want to give a quick shout out to Ivy, who actually did the tarot reading for me for this particular episode. And I got into contact with her after the recording of this podcast, and she said she wouldn't mind if I gave her Fiverr page a shout out. So that is where we are putting this segment in the show. So if you go to fiverr.com facebook.com/Ivy_Genesis. You will find Ivy and her page where she gives out insightful tarot psychic readings. You can actually contact her through the page. You can get a quote from her. You can message her directly through the website. She's very easygoing, very friendly to talk to. I would highly recommend the experience. She's got great reviews on the platform with a 5-star seller communication level, a 4.8 recommendation level, and a 4.9 service as described level. And you can go through all the comments and stuff and see the wonderful things that people have said about her and her tarot reading. Like I said, she was great to work with. I can't wait to have her as a future guest on the show. And you can expect that fairly soon, probably within the off break between seasons 1 and 2. But yeah, I just wanted to make sure she was properly shouted out before we go any further into the podcast. And now, back to your regularly scheduled programming. Okay, so now we're going to time back in and check, please. Okay. So basically what I've been trying to do, as I mentioned, is I'm trying to stall time because I'm uploading these videos. So what I did and what I figured would be a better format for the actual podcast itself is I went through and I listened to the tarot reading ahead of time. So that way I could make sure she's not going to say something about me that I'm not comfortable with sharing with the world.
Which I would just love.
Oh, I know you would. I know you would.
It.
So what I planned on doing was going through it, and I have divided the video into small little sections that are almost like what's the term? They're almost like little proper consumable like nuggets that you could just like pop one and be like,
just
like
pop
that's a little piece of information. Pop.
Right.
So what I figured we would do is we would watch these, talk about each individual aspect, and then we'll just move on to the next thing. And the way that I can also do this is if something isn't particularly exciting or it isn't enticing or whatever, I figured, I could just skip that one, but I still have it as a separate video and I could still like send it to you guys if you guys are interested or whatever.
Sure.
But yeah, so I was just like, okay, we'll go from there. We'll do that. We'll see what the guys think. And, we'll make an episode out of it. Now, I will say this as a precursor to the reading, like prior to anything that you're about to hear. I went into this with no expectations, not low expectations.
Yeah, because you don't know.
Yeah, because I don't know. I don't know anything about tarot. I've never done any sort of research. I don't know anything that, Ivy was going to do prior to, contacting her or whatever. She actually reached out to me when I contracted her and she said, thank you for choosing me as your reader. I will try to make your experience a likable one. I suggest that since this is a 20-minute reading, maybe to focus on one aspect of your life in order to get more clarity. She said, I can answer all of your questions, but I won't be able to go into too deep of each area, like give you a ton of information because I had asked for so much. And what I had asked for was just a general look at my past, present, and future actions. I said a general outlook on my career, because I want to know if this podcast is going to be successful and if this is a future career prospect.
Okay.
I said I'd do a little bit of fanfare for the audience, and I said, let's get a look into my love life.
Oh boy.
So, we're going to peel back the curtain here. And then I said, just a general, is there anything else I need to know right now? So I was like, okay, like that. I feel like that kind of touches on a bunch of things. So she said, yeah, I can do all that. No problems there. But just so you know, we may not get into one particular area for very long. And she goes, so you can narrow it down if you want. She said, I could do all those topics. And I said, you know what? Let's narrow it down. I said, because I do want the video to kind of be somewhat focused, but not like too focused. So I said, we don't need to talk about any of my career stuff. Like, let's just let the chips fall as they may fall. If this podcast is going to crash, down into hard land and be a burning husk of what it used to be, so be it. Or if it's just going to take off and we're going to have sponsors every week or whatever, I want to be pleasantly surprised. But I said I would still like a general past, present, future breakdown. I said, if that's possible, keep that in the reading. Because like I said, I have no idea what tarot entails. I said, definitely keep the love stuff in there. Mm-hmm. And then I'm
just thinking of one specific person, but
yeah, should be interesting to hear that.
Okay. So,
okay.
Then I said, okay, well, and then anything else that you feel you need to mention, there we go. So she said, can do, great response. I'll get to it as soon as possible. And another reason why I picked her was essentially she said that she could deliver this to me in 2 days, which was perfect because I needed this thing by Sunday, which is when we were going to record. And she over-delivered and she got it to me by Friday. She did this in less than a day, which is even crazier because the only thing that she asked for was, she said, if I can have and this wasn't directly to me, this was in her pitch. If I do a tarot reading for you, I only require these 2 things. She said, I just need either your name or the first name of the person that you're interested in a reading about. And she said, I also would like a photo if that's possible. And that's just to help, according to the listing, it would be to help connect with the person or connect with the person's energy. It just helped with that. So I was like, can do. My name is Aaron. And
hey.
Yeah, hey, how's it going? And I sent over this picture. I'm going to post it in general chat just so you guys know.
Let's check it out.
Is this it? I can't tell. No, that one was it. There we go. I got it. Okay, so there we go. So that photo is the exact photo that I sent to her.
I love it.
Okay.
For those of you that are watching the YouTube portion of the podcast or on social media, you will be able to see which photo I sent over because I'll include it with the broadcast of the program. Basically, though, to describe it for people who aren't looking at it, it is a picture of me in sort of a jacket and a black T-shirt with my hair, my old hairstyle, because I totally shaved my head. It's kind of coiffed back and to the side. I've got some lights on me. I'm standing outside and there's a bunch of trees and snow and stuff. And I have no expression on my face. I'm not smiling. If I'm being honest, I actually look kind of pissed in the photo.
Can I add in a little bit what this picture reminds me of? And I think you'll appreciate this.
Yeah, go for it.
I think it reminds me of what your headshot would be if you joined Ghost Adventures.
Yes.
I definitely see that.
That is absolutely it. I did not realize that was the aesthetic that I was going for, but that is so perfect and it absolutely matches that. Unbelievable comparison.
We want answers.
Also, thank you, Eric, for the watermelon emoji reaction and then the ghost reaction.
There we go. That's the
so yeah, this photo, and the reason why I picked this photo is because it doesn't, and you guys can either confirm or deny my suspicions. It does not, in my opinion, give her anything to work with.
Right.
It doesn't show if I'm a happy, sad, weird, interesting person. It's just a picture. It has no sorts of clues. If you were to look at this picture, you'd be like, I don't know what I can get from this person. there's, I know he likes to stare directly into the camera. I know he wears black jackets. I think he's trying out for Ghost Adventures. Sure. That stuff, that's what you could expect from this photo. So that was it. The caveat was she just needed a name. Aaron, hello. She needed a photo. Boom. There you go.
Got it.
And she was like, I can now do your reading. And I was like, excellent. That's phenomenal to me. I'm very excited for that. Okay, so there is the first video.
Okay. So I'm going to pull this up.
Yep. So now pull it up, get it ready to go, but don't hit play yet. I want to make sure that we can all play it at the same time.
We're going on a journey. Why don't you try real quick pulling up this and try and screen share that just to see if it works, just for a second.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Because that
because it could, the Chrome could be different than.
Yeah, I agree. Let me know if you can hear this.
Yep.
Yes.
Oh, so you guys can hear that. Perfect.
Yep. Yes.
You're welcome. You're welcome
Billy,
for that.
thank you. You have saved this podcast and you have made it so we can all listen to this at the same time.
The sad reality is, through this whole whatever I'm doing over here on the internet, there's a million little idiosyncrasies of all these different programs, so it's always worth a try.
Okay, so boys, this is the first video of it all here. This is the intro video, as I have dubbed it. She'll go into basically like a very brief intro, and then she will talk about it, and we will see. So the whole purpose of this episode, just before we get into it, I guess this exercise is, I want you two, since you two know me, really well, we've all known each other for years. I want you to be able to, at the end of this, like, tell me and the audience how close she was with her tarot reading. And I will say this, I will give you my impression ahead of time. I think she did a damn good job, and I cannot believe she got some of the things that she got.
Okay.
Because one, you would not be able to get these from that photo, and two, she nailed it. Like, okay. No spoilers here, but she absolutely nailed it. So here we go. We are going to
let's do this.
Watch the reading. So this is my actual tarot reading. Here we go.
Hi everyone, welcome to your reading. I'm Ivy, as you may know. So I have your cards here, and I want to start by giving you a little disclosure about what reading the future with tarot actually implies. So when reading the future with tarot, what we're looking at is how the present energies are manifesting into the future. So this is why your past, present, future reading are very connected with each other, and I would like to focus more here on what you are currently manifesting or what you're going through at the moment, because or let's just say making you aware of what's happening at the moment. So these may be things that you already know or you are already going through. I don't know, let's just start and you'll see what I mean. So what I see here is that you are a very resourceful person. So with this Alchemist card, you are the type of person that with every experience that you go through, you can make something out of it. Even if it's a negative experience, you still have that ability to look at the bright side. But sometimes you also can get really disappointed and let down. So I feel that you have this flow of perspectives, kind of. Sometimes they can be really positive and sometimes really negative. But I can see that in the end, you kind of manage to make a victory out of everything. So out of every experience, you see something positive in it.
So that's the first portion of the reading.
Okay.
Obviously very general. Like I will say that, like, yeah, it is very vague, but I will say, vague or not, I feel like she did nail that.
Sure.
Like whenever I do something and I'm able to actually complete it, part of the reason why I'm able to find success with a lot of different projects and stuff is I take it on like a piece by piece basis. So like whenever I work on stuff for the podcast, for example, I will plan out an episode, I'll write it down, then we record. That's its own little, portion of the process. And then I edit it, and then I listen and I like make sure that the audio sounds good, and I do any sort of like special effects or whatever. Then I upload it, then I create the stuff. So every little piece of the puzzle along the way where I can actually like, make something out of nothing essentially, and I can just make sure that like I'm doing it appropriately and I'm getting shit done. I do like celebrate that victory. Like that's, I would say she nailed that.
All right.
She's one for
First
one.
card is good then, yeah.
Yeah.
Thanks, Ivy. Appreciate it.
So now this one goes into more details about like cycles, like within my life, like how changing cycles and how I deal with it and like what is generally happening in my life.
Also with the tower here, and actually these 3 cards. So this is the 6 of Wands and the 8 of Wands. And I can tell that recently there's been something good happening in your life that you were very proud of and made you look into the future like things are amazing. But I can see that with the Tower card, you're actually manifesting something. Let's just say something that you won't see coming, because the Tower is a very ground shaking type of energy that's coming to you. So this event, I'm actually, because it is a major arcana, and also it is followed by the Wheel of Fortune here, who is also a major arcana. I'm getting that you have this cycle of death and rebirth, but metaphorically. So you have experiences that are very uncomfortable to go through, and then you rise and things are good again, and then it's just this cycle of up and downs, which if you think about it, this is how life is in general. But I'm getting that this thing that you're manifesting at the moment is something that has to do with other people, and I think that these other people in your life are actually mirroring parts of you that are unintegrated and unhealed, and because you don't really acknowledge them, these parts within you, they keep projecting themselves on the outside through different experiences or through different people. And I feel that you have this pattern of just going through the same things over and over, but it's not really, this experience can come through different people. So it's not one person that keeps repeating this. It's just your feelings are the same, like feelings of maybe defeat and disappointment and just conflict with the exterior and things not aligning the way you want them to. So what I'm getting is that right after this letdown, you will get an uprise again. And the really amazing things that I see for you here is that, like I actually said in the beginning, is that with every experience you are able to view life differently, and every experience builds you up somehow. So it's like a constant expansion that you go through. So this Page of Cups here and the Ace of Swords, after this, let's just say, uncomfortable experience that's coming for you, you will kind of be renewed, and because the page is a very fresh and young energy, I'm also getting that your emotional intelligence is getting better and better, and you realize that what happens on the exterior for you, it's only the messenger for your triggers, so for your negative emotions.
So yeah, that one.
Okay.
She just kind of talked about like life in general, and with she mentioned like a cycle and stuff. So obviously, life in and of itself, you go through different bits and pieces of the cycle and stuff. But I will say this, I think she absolutely nailed it, because there are things that are going on in my life, to peel back the curtain a little bit, where I'm constantly, whether it be involving people or not, working to do a particular thing or working towards a particular cause. And it's constant met with like optimism, like actual manifestation of something, only to lead to like when it's either completed or not followed through with, acceptance of that, like a sort of like sadness that is what happened. And then it just repeats the cycle. I will say that is absolutely true. I won't go into detail what that is, but
nonetheless,
that's absolutely true.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that. That one I could see.
Yeah. But yeah, so this next bit that we'll go into the reading here, this one, she actually nails an aspect of my personality that I did not think she would be able to nail. And you'll be able to know that immediately. So yeah, we'll go right into it.
Also, with the lover card here, I'm really getting that you have a very, very thirsty for life inner child. So I can see that your inner child is really guiding things subconsciously. So you're not really aware that he's the one kind of controlling your experience, but they are very, because it is your inner child, they can be very reactive sometimes, but it's also this pure, innocent type of love that's very fresh, So I think that somehow you are really able to view the good in people and to be an optimist at times, which is a really good thing. And I think that you will come victorious actually from every experience that you have, even though in the moment it seems like it will last forever and those things are like the worst and it will never end and your feelings are overwhelming. But the truth is that you will really be able to rise. You will really rise above everything that life will throw at you, which in reality, I don't know if you believe in the law of attraction, which basically I like to call it the law of mirroring, because everything that's internal is mirrored in the exterior,
So that one, definitely like a different message compared to some of the other ones. But what blew my mind, and this is where I thought, holy shit, this reading like got super real.
Right, you're kind of in.
Was when she was like, so I'm getting from your reading that like you're really guided by like this inner child. Like you have this quality, like this wonder about the world, and you're able to see the good in people and stuff like that. My jaw hit the floor because I have multiple people and multiple friends that will absolutely admit to me being like a big kid, just the nature that I have with life. Like I'm all about embracing the chaotic about stuff. Like whenever I'm gaming or making a video or doing the podcast or whatever, like I'm all about that. And people who really actually deep down know me know that that's like the real me, like the true me.
Right.
And when she said that, I was like, holy shit, like she actually might like be a real true blue tarot reader here, because from that, my name, Aaron, hello, from my picture that I sent over, you would not get like a childlike spirit.
Yeah, she's getting all this
from that. So that was where I was like, okay, Ivy, you've got me here. Like I'm hooked. Like what's coming next? So yeah, so that was the craziest part of the reading for me. Like just the fact that she was able to nail that. So this next one that she's going to go into detail, it's about a social dynamic, like the dynamic that I kind of take in the situation. I guess I could see this one, but this one it I feel like is a little bit, I don't know, it doesn't align with me as much. I'll let you guys be the judge.
Let's see. I'm also getting the type of hero dynamic from you, so the triangle dynamic in social dynamic, I mean, which is the victim, the hero, and the villain. So you have these tendencies to try to rescue people or to be the hero in the story, even though some people, they don't need rescuing and they need to just go through things alone in order to actually learn something and to expand. But for some reason you have this Avenger type in you that always wants to find the right thing, to find justice, and who is always looking for the truth. But what you really need to realize here is that the only truth you need is your own personal truth, because everyone is seeing and perceiving life differently. And this is not saying to not care about people, it's just saying to view situations if they actually need your help, and to actually ask them like, hey, do you want me to help you? Because sometimes you just need to let people be and to just experience their lives and learn from their mistakes, you know?
So that one, I feel like in the triangle that she mentioned, the hero, the villain, and the victim, I definitely feel like most of us, like most of the people that I associate with in my life, would fall in that hero category. Like, I only know very few people that would fall in the villain category, and that was their younger selves. I don't know how they are as adults. And I only probably could guess like a couple people that would be in like the victim column, if you will. But I would feel like by default, then that just leaves the hero for most people. But it's not like I really go out of my way to be like, I have to avenge you. Like, I need to protect you. But I will say this. Good confidence booster, just in case anybody needs it. Like, when she was like, oh, like, you're this hero, you're this avenger, I was like, oh yeah, I guess I can be at times, you know. Like,
yes. You know what?
I am.
So that one, I felt like it wasn't as close as some of the other readings, but I feel like her analysis of, like, you know, you need to be able to ask people for help and let them go through stuff on their own. And like, if they need help, they will ask or whatever. I do actually do that. Like, I will reach out to people if they do need help. Like, you know, what can I do? It's not like I'm inserting myself into people's lives and I'm like, you know, hey, I'm here. Like, I'm going to help you whether you want it or not. Like, you know, that's not what I actually do. But it's one of those things where I'm like, okay, if I can help you, let me know, sort of deal. So maybe that's what she was picking up on.
No, that wasn't too far off base, I'd say.
Yeah. So this next one is all about new beginnings, and I'll let you be the judge of this.
You also have this message that says a new start is coming, which I'm kind of getting the sense that this is something you have been manifesting. So in order for energies to happen in our reality, they need to gain some type of momentum, you know. So you may already know that we manifest reality with our thoughts and things like this, but the truth is that it takes time in order for things to actually manifest in our reality. So with the Ten of Swords, I'm getting that sorry, I'm thinking of how to phrase things. The negative thoughts that you have and perceptions, they won't manifest immediately in your exterior. If you keep thinking them, then they will eventually. So let's say if you are happy and something bad happens, then it's not really mirroring your exact vibration at the present moment. You know, it's something that took time to manifest. So coming back to what I wanted to say, I feel that you have been somehow gaining the momentum for a positive experience, something that you wanted to accomplish for quite some time, and it will manifest. And sorry if I use manifest too much, because it can get annoying.
So that one actually hit home probably like the second hardest out of all of them. And the reason why I say that is because, you know, obviously a lot of this stuff is very general, like what, you know, you could apply some of this advice or some of this stuff to any aspect of your life.
Sure.
So, you know,
still vague.
Yeah. So the two things that I got from that one were either about the podcast, because she specifically mentioned like accomplishing something that you've wanted to accomplish for a long time, which obviously I've wanted to do a podcast for 6 or 7 years. And then to finally
you've been manifesting it for a while.
Yeah. And then to finally do this for the last like 6 to 7 months, like, you know, that's been in and of itself. So that was actually pretty crazy to potentially piece together.
And now it has finally manifested.
Exactly. And if she's talking about, like, if it applies to something that hasn't yet manifested, the other thing that I was attributing it to was I plan on, you know, getting a job like in the video editing industry and stuff and moving fairly soon. So like, if that's something that's on the horizon, she said it was like a big life event that you would, you know, I've been looking into this like for the last 2 years, I've been like looking into places to move, companies to work for. Like I had a plan laid out, but then of course the pandemic hit and the Fire Nation attacked and, you know, everything sort of happened. Avatar joke for those that caught that. There you go.
That one.
So, you know, I will say like that portion of the reading was definitely very like interesting. Like it caught my ear. Like I was like, oh, there you go. There's a little something right there. So, so this next one has to deal with a couple different things. I have it labeled as spirituality, nature, and signs. So we'll just jump right into that one.
So Hierophant is a major arcana, and it is very related to spirituality and our inner experience. So this kind of gives me a hint that you need to come into your personal power more. So to find empowerment in the sense that you need to see how you are creating everything that is happening to you, and you are not a victim, but you're a very active creator of your reality, you know? And so with the Hierophant, I actually from the beginning, I got a sense that you're a very, maybe not spiritual and aware person, even though you might not think of yourself this way, but you have tendencies of, you know, being very, like, I think it's your essence with the child nature here. It's kind of your soul essence to be this way. It's not really something you are taught, but it's more something that you are. With the Hierophant and nature here, I feel that you can find great healing and answers in nature. So if you pay attention to what's happening around you, you will see that the universe will try to communicate with you through signs. For example, if you go through the woods and you see a rabbit, you know, then try to find the symbolism of what the rabbit means, and it can actually, that energy can help you at a moment in time, you know. Or I don't know if you experience synchronicities like numbers or I don't know, just things happening in your reality that they somehow add up together.
Now that one blew my fucking mind as well, because like the whole symbolism thing up until that point, it's not like I've really read into that too much.
Sure.
But I absolutely have coincidences in my life that revolve around numbers or shit like that.
She mentioned numbers.
Like with particular dates and stuff, and having things fall on different times and stuff. So it's not like I'm ever on the lookout like, oh, I gotta the numbers Mason. I gotta look out for these numbers.
Mason.
Like I'm not like that, but I will say there are a lot of things in my life that revolve around either having like a lucky number or just something working out to that effect or whatever. So when she said that blew me away. Also the spirituality thing, you know, I wouldn't say like I'm the most religious person in the sense of like, you know, I read the Bible or I go to church every weekend or whatever, but I do have a healthy respect for an overall like creator. And I feel like my views on that over the years have evolved and stuff, but it just blew my mind. Some of the stuff that she was saying about like the symbolism in my life when it comes to that. Like I just couldn't get over it. So that was like another pretty shocking thing. And I'm like, you can't just get that from a name like Aaron. Hello.
And a picture. Like you can't get that shit. And what are the chances it all matches up to my shit? Like it's, I don't know. It's kind of weird. I got you.
The next part of the video, this one's the shortest one, talks about a mentor or mentorship in my life. I could see where this one falls, but this one I feel like doesn't apply with me as much. I'll let you guys be the judge.
Very interesting here. So you also have the card mentor. So with the Hierophant and mentor here, I really think, I don't know if you have someone in your life already that you consider like a mentor and a teacher and someone you look up to, but actually finding guidance from the outside right now for you will really be very beneficial. So it can be someone on the internet or someone real or someone fictional or whatever, it doesn't matter, but someone you can kind of take as an example and follow their teachings or their way of living, but not in a way to copy them, but in a way to feel inspired to express your own self.
Now, with regarding this, I have been working with like a dude on freelance work, and I've been able to like earn some money through those opportunities and stuff. And it's not like I'd necessarily consider him a mentor. I would consider him like more of like a colleague, or more of a,
peer.
Yeah, a peer, somebody who I can learn from. But then again, there she goes, learn from their example and not necessarily copy them, but, trust their experiences and stuff. So that one, while I feel like it wasn't as close as some of the other ones, it could still apply. Like I can find a piece of my life, a very recent piece of my life, I should say, where that fits. Because that's the other thing that I'm looking for. Is it a general fit? It might be, but sure, does it apply to something that happened recently? That's the other thing that I'm examining when it comes to these readings. And there is two more parts that we have, but this one I would say is probably the one that people are most interested in, if I had to guess. This one is my love reading.
Yeah, let's go, man.
This is my love life here. So this one speaks for itself. I'm not going to preface it with anything. Just buckle up, get ready to laugh, and have a good one.
So we have 5 more minutes, and I want to get also in your love area, because you said you are interested in that. So let's see. Okay, so with the 4 of Cups, I'm getting some disappointment in that area for you. But it's a very interesting thing about this card, because if you look at the imagery, then this person literally has cups on the ground, and there's also one here. So it's not really, it's more of an ungrateful type of energy. And I'm not really calling you ungrateful. It's just your vibration at the moment. It's that of lack mentality. So if you perceive of there's no one out there for me, like I don't match with anyone, no one is compatible with me. And if you focus on that, you will get more of that, So try to shift your attention, because I'm really getting that the power to manifest this is in your hands, even though it doesn't seem like it. It seems like something you can't really control of whether you'll find someone or not. But like I said, it all comes from your mind. And if you actually start to focus on how you already have the things that you wish for. So think of what you wish for in a partner, for example, love and attention, understanding, being seen, being loved, things like this. Try to look for how you already have that in your life, even if it's something really minimal, but you just need to, like I said, get the momentum going for you actually manifesting someone. And also it can give you some interesting tools that you can use. So think of manifesting a person exactly like you would manifest anything. So a little exercise that you can do, and it actually worked for me personally, is you can get a piece of paper, like white, plain, and a pen, and you can write in present tense, and write your full name. I'm in a loving relationship with my soulmate or partner or whatever you want to call that person. And she is, or he is, and try to literally say all the qualities that you want your perfect partner to have. So just anything that goes through your mind, like loving, understanding. And while doing this exercise, try to have a very vivid image in your head that will make you feel those feelings of being with that person, because that's literally how you manifest someone. They won't just come into your reality, because if you wait for someone to come, then they will be manifested by your subconscious, and you don't really know what's there. And you can manifest someone that mirrors your traumas, for example, and you will get triggered a lot by them, which usually happens. So this is why try to make this a conscious process of you manifesting someone, like literally, and making your own happiness. You can find something if you are not looking for it. And besides this exercise that I told you about, try to expose yourself more, because you need to take action in order to have something, just like you would do with anything in your life. For example, if you have a hobby and you want to turn it into a career, you won't just wait for it and expect for it to fall from the sky like we would with partners, because we actually expect for a partner to just gravitate towards us and to just meet us. But honestly, in the love sector, as your overall vibration, I see it just as very stagnant. So it's like this stagnant energy that is not really attracting anything. So you need to actively play a role in finding someone and in being a match to someone.
Okay, so
first of all, I don't fuck with her calling you stagnant. Number one, you stagnant, okay?
No, hold on. I'm gonna say this right now. She fucking nailed it. She absolutely nailed it. Like, definitely, I would say I have not been doing enough in that sector. Like, it's not like I've been putting myself out there. It's not like I've been, manifesting that energy towards that particular sector. It's, it isn't, I feel like the one part of that was, I feel like I don't have a lack mentality. Like, I feel like I'm not in that position where I'm like, nobody's out there for me. Yeah, I'm not there yet. Like, I haven't crossed that particular threshold. But I was just blown away. Absolutely what she said, like, totally applies to me. Definitely, like, I haven't been putting myself out there as much. She's like, if you do that, you can do that and stuff. So you know what? I'm taking that fucking leap right now. Live on this broadcast. Here's what we're going to do.
Oh, my God.
I'm manifesting some love. If you out there think that you're a good match for me, send me an email, get in contact with me on this podcast. Who knows? Maybe we could go on a live blind date on this podcast.
He's a 5-star man.
I'm a 5-star man.
Yes, sir.
We interrupt this part of the podcast to bring you this sultry announcement. If there are any available ladies that would like to get in touch with me, your host, Aaron, the man with the stagnant love life, feel free to contact me. Give me an email through saveitforthecast@gmail.com or contact me on social media. Social media handles known as Save It Cast, or just go ahead and search Save It for the Cast on any of your favorite social media platforms. So if you are a single available woman, feel free to contact me. Maybe we can talk over the podcast, talk over the phone, talk in some ways that are entertaining for both of us. And this is me, your host, Aaron, trying to manifest some love. And now, back to the podcast. Like, I'm putting that out in the world right now. Like, here we go.
Yeah, manifest that.
You have to manifest it.
But yeah, I could not believe, like, just how close, like, this area of the reading was either. Like, remember, all I gave her was a name, Aaron, hello, and a picture. That's it. I didn't, she didn't have any social media. It's not like I know this person. She's over in Romania. There's a 7-hour time difference. Like, holy shit, like, just right. Absolutely no way, like, she could know some of these things or whatever. And, but yeah, I feel like, that's what the people want to know. The people are like, oh, like, what's going on in Aaron's love life? There you go. Directly from a third party source, a tarot reader. Last but certainly not least, we have the finale here for you gentlemen. And I figured this would be a good way to end it. This kind of like sums up what she says and stuff. Like I said, there was a little bit more to the video, but I'll get to that. I'll get to that at the end. So here's my finale for my tarot reading.
So for your love oracle message, let's say, we have the end of a tough cycle approaches. So just like I sensed, because even though things appear to be stagnant, energy is never stagnant. It's always moving, right? So even if something seems stale, it's actually just some energy that keeps manifesting itself the same way over and over, right? So I think that you are really able to break this cycle that you are in love-wise by actually shifting your thoughts and your actions and your behavior towards this area, and you'll be able to just manifest something differently. And I wish there was something that counted how many times I said manifest during this video, but
yeah, me too.
Yeah. Anyway.
So I actually don't know. I was keeping track, but then I lost count. I think she said it definitely over 10, but I'm not sure. But yeah, that is my tarot reading.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So what did you guys think? Like an unbiased opinion. I definitely want the truth. I don't want you to, feed my ego or anything like that. How close do you feel she was with that reading?
I'll let Eric go.
Oh, you need to think
no,
first.
I just like to hear what you have to say.
Oh, thank you.
I do too.
I think she was pretty generally correct and like saying correct things based off of you.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Sure, like Bill has said, some of the things could of course be a little vague, or pretty like generalized, but yeah, I thought it was pretty good. I was interested to see what she had to say.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the other thing too. Like I said, I did this without the notion of like knowing what tarot was. I didn't know what to expect. I just wanted to like hire somebody for the cast, put it out there in the world for better, for worse or whatever. And just, see like almost like try something new. Typically I'm not one of those people, obviously extremely picky eater, very grounded in my routine and stuff. Not really too thrilled or excited to step outside my comfort zone. You know what? I'm willing to do it for content though. Like manifest it. Like that's what I'm willing to do for this. So yeah, I feel like it was a good experience overall just to do that. But Bill, I'd love to hear your thoughts as well.
I'm just being the negative Nancy of the group. I still think it's incredibly vague. Okay. However, the some of the stuff was definitely, it's interesting that she can draw such accuracy based on just the picture.
Yeah. I think that's what,
like the last one kind of lost me because you can say that to anybody. I mean, you can step outside, you got to manifest things, look around what you already have. Yeah. I mean, I could have told you that.
Yeah. So I guess what I'm more interested in is like, not to necessarily focus on the general or focus on the things that maybe weren't as close as I would like them to be. Because obviously, like I said, if you pull, what's the saying? Like if you pull a thread, like it'll lead somewhere, or like it'll all unravel. Sure. Whatever the phrasing is. I'm not good with phrases either. You could kind of, I guess, draw parallels if you really are picky enough to like, oh yeah, I could see how this could apply, this could apply, this could apply. But some of that stuff, like with the child nature specifically, the stagnant love life, the what was the other thing? The numerology, like the signs and the figures and stuff in nature, the spirituality, like a lot of that stuff. I feel like, if I just took a guess and threw it out into the ether, like, sure, you could be right maybe 50% of the time or whatever. Sure. But the fact that she did this extremely quickly, she did this with just my name, Aaron, hello, and a picture, I feel like it was so close to so many different things. Like, I don't know. I would love to hear audience feedback if they felt like, this was a cool segment, if this was like, something that they were interested in. How close do they think, Ivy was? I would also, if anybody has any questions for her, if I can get her on the show and you want me to ask a particular question, absolutely I will. So yeah, send them my way. You two included. If you had something that, burning question that you'd like to ask Ivy, let me know.
I think for me, I'd almost have to do that for myself.
Yeah. So if we were able to get her for a live reading, would you do it?
I would do it. Yeah.
All right.
Unfortunately, just the way that I am, I think I'd still be guarded about it. But
yeah, more skeptical. That's fine. Like I said, I don't know where I fall. Because I just, I went into this not knowing anything, not, expecting one way or another to fall. I was just, if anything, I was pleasantly surprised, like with how close stuff actually was. And obviously I'm going to be pretty biased because the reading is about me. So I'm able to draw more accurate parallels than maybe somebody else would. So that's why I thought it would be interesting to like, you know, let you guys hear it, see what you think and stuff like that. Like have it go within that realm and stuff. So
Sure.
But yeah, so that's the tarot cast. That was,
I mean, interesting.
Finally, the name of the episode comes out for you guys.
The tarot cast.
You had me so just feeling all kinds of things. Like I just had no idea where we were headed.
Yeah, not at all.
I was very cryptic. What would you rate the experience though? Like if I was an Uber driver on your guide to podcast content, what would you rate me for the final journey, delivery, presentation, all that?
I think you're a master at your craft.
Yeah, I'd give you a 5, man.
I was going to say, I'm hoping for 5 stars for a 5-star man.
Yeah, exactly.
You're a 5-star man.
I'm a 5-star man. That's what I was hoping for. But
if you were to rate me, what would you rate?
On a star system, what would it be? So yeah, obviously through some technical difficulties and stuff and kind of ad-libbing on the fly and stuff and kind of drawing out the cast so we were able to accommodate what we needed to accommodate. Obviously, we're definitely over on time. I don't know if there was anything else you guys wanted to bring up or whatever for the remainder of this cast. You are more than welcome to, but obviously, if you need to get out of here, I understand that too.
That's good. I'm good. I think that's we did an internet. That's how we do an internet.
We did an internet. That's what we did.
Internet. Okay. I do want to point out. I was really enjoying the thumbnails that would come up at the end of each video.
Right.
Specifically the staring kid, every time he kind of popped up and he was like staring at me. I like that.
That's the baseball game one. Have you seen that clip? That's so sick.
I didn't even notice it. I
Oh
didn't
my
even
God,
notice
dude.
the
You should watch that video. It's actually pretty entertaining.
What's it called?
It's just, you can probably just Google baseball staring kid.
Baseball staring kid.
It's a kid at a baseball game, and I guess he catches eye contact with like the camera guy and then won't look away.
Baseball.
And like every time they go back to look at the same clip, he's still staring at the guy.
I do see it. I do see the thumbnail that you were talking about.
It's pretty interesting.
And then it also kept showing Shaq with a tiny water bottle too. That was funny.
But yeah, gents, I guess that'll wrap up this episode of the podcast.
Alrighty.
So yeah, I would like to thank both of you gentlemen for appearing on yet another episode of this show. You're quickly racking up the numbers. The show wouldn't exist without you. Love you. Appreciate the hard work and stuff.
Love you, man.
And let me tell you, I've got another surprise coming your guys' way for the end of the season. You'll just have to tune in for the next episode.
Guess we'll have to tune in.
But yeah, thank you guys so much for tuning in for the podcast. Remember, rate us 5 stars and only 5
stars
on any sort of platform that you listen to us on, because this is a 5-star show for 5-star men like we are.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you can check us out on social media. We are Save It For The Cast. Username on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram is known as Save It Cast. And yeah, check us out on YouTube, all sorts of stuff. We got the personal socials and stuff on there. The actual link to the website, the short link itself to get you there fast, quick, easy, bing, bang, boom is bit.ly/saveitcast. That'll take you to the show's website where you can access all of the social media, all of the episodes, listen on your favorite platform. We really love it. We really appreciate it. And yeah, we just want you along for the ride. All these crazy readings and stuff, you know, that's why we do this, for all the entertainment. So yeah, thank you, Eric, for being on the show. We got you coming at us live from a crystal ball.
Whoa. Okay, cool. Thank you.
And Bill, we've got you coming at you live from a deck of tarot cards.
And be kind, stay safe, wear a mask.
There we go. I appreciate that that little safety nugget at the end there. And where am I? Let's see. I'm Aaron. Hello. I'm coming at you live from the back janitor's closet of a tarot reading office. I got my foot stuck in a mop bucket. Didn't see it coming from the readings. But yeah, that's the show. Thank you all so much for listening. And man, oh man, we got quite the finale coming up for you next week. So stay tuned for that, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Bye.
Later.
See you later, everybody. And we are clear, boys.
Woo!
Holy shit, what an episode. So
was cool.
I was going to say, hopefully that lived up to some of the hype for you guys.
Didn't know what the hell was going to happen.